Today we're going to talk about 6 plant-based myths and how we're going to debunk them. Hi, my name is Dr. Lori Marbus. I am a board-certified family and lifestyle medicine physician, and I am licensed in all 50 states and DC. So I've seen thousands and thousands of plant-based patients well over a decade now. And so I'm here to kind of help you separate what is fact from fiction. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, click the little alert button so that you're aware when more videos come available. And share this with someone you think that might be curious about a plant-based diet and who might benefit from all the wonderful things that come with eating a whole food plant-based diet. So let's dive right in. I'm going to pull up my notes here. So first of all, we all are aware that plant-based diets have really kind of sparked a lot of discussion of late, especially over the last few years. They're becoming more popular, but of course with popularity comes, well, some myths, right? And so even though many people are embracing this way of eating and seeing benefits, there will still be misconceptions that linger, right? So people are maybe they're seeing their blood pressure drop and their blood sugars improve, but then, their cousin or uncle or their next door neighbor says something negative and they feel intimidated by people who are not in a place to be giving nutritional guidance, and they stop. And it's really, really unfortunate to see that happen. So let's talk a little bit about that. Number one myth, I like to say that plant-based diets lack sufficient protein. Now, the truth, one of the most pervasive myths, this is absolutely one of the most pervasive myths, and that you cannot provide enough protein on a plant-based diet. In reality, a well-planned diet can meet or exceed your protein needs without the need for any animal products. Protein-rich foods like any soy products, beans, lentils, tempeh, quinoa, nuts, seeds, whole grains, they offer a wide variety of essential amino acids. And research shows that many people who are eating a wide variety of plant foods throughout the day can absolutely reach the protein requirements. The RDA is only 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. I encourage people to push that to 1 gram, especially if you're going through menopause or you're elderly or doing some type of resistance training to help support muscle growth. And also, if you're trying to lose weight and you're in some type of caloric deficit, we really want to maintain as much of that muscle as we can. So I'd encourage you to try eating around 1 gram per kilogram of body weight. And so, for example, 1 cup of lentils will provide 18 grams of protein. 1 cup of tofu offers around 20 grams. So really, you can absolutely do this if you're eating a wide variety of foods. Where I see people get into trouble is when they eat a very restrictive diet, right? So maybe they're eating a pound of veggies first thing in the morning, and they're just not hungry for meals for the rest of the day, especially if you're elderly, a littler lady. These are my typical patients that I see do this. So I would encourage you to eat, again, lots of beans and legumes and whole grains. Sometimes people will throw out all beans because it causes a little bit more gas or bloating. Your digestive system will absolutely get better at handling all that fiber. Just start slow. Maybe start with some lentils. Then you could go into some of the more difficult beans to digest, like the black beans towards the end. But start with lentils, ease into it, but you absolutely can get enough protein. Number 2, plant-based diets are deficient in essential nutrients. Now, the truth is there are some nutrients that are found in animal products, not made, like B12 is not made by animals, it's only made by bacteria, but it can be found in the flesh of animals because it's stored there, like B12. And then some things like iron and omega-3s can be easier to obtain in animal products. However, you need to understand you absolutely can get these, except for B12, from plant-based foods. So B12, that's, again, not found in not made by plants, not made by animals, but by bacteria. It's typically found in water and in dirt. And to really be sure that you're getting sufficient B12, I recommend taking a supplement. Of course, people can do fortified foods like plant-based milks and such, but sometimes that's not enough. But I've absolutely seen people who even eat meat and dairy are deficient in B12. It's not an uncommon thing. And some medications that are very popular over-the-counter things like metformin or proton pump inhibitors for indigestion or heartburn can also decrease your absorption of B12. So that's something to pay attention to. So make sure you're getting your B12 checked. I would check it annually, especially if you're doing a whole food plant-based diet. You want to be hitting at least 500 when you get that blood work. Below that, I've seen many patients with some symptoms of deficiency. Now, iron, the only time I've seen iron be an issue is typically with women who are still menstruating and are struggling if they have really heavy periods. So that typically is the issue. Iron, plant-based iron is what we call non-heme iron, and it's a little bit less easily absorbed than heme iron from animal sources, which in some cases might be beneficial. But you can pair them with foods like spinach, lentils, and chickpeas, those type of foods that are higher in iron, with vitamin C rich foods like citrus fruits, bell peppers, and other things, broccoli. That will enhance their absorption per the research. And how much, it's a little bit hard to say for sure, but it's definitely something to consider. Plus, it'll add a nice little flair of taste to whatever you're consuming. And the last is the omega-3. So I think, again, an important thing here is if you're not eating a lot of the more higher calorie dense things like nuts and seeds, you may be lacking in the ALA department. So sometimes individuals are very fat phobic when they get on the plant-based diet. So remember, the overarching theme here is people who are super restrictive are usually the ones that are going to suffer micronutrient deficiencies, right? So you want to eat plenty of ground flaxseed, chia seeds, hemp seeds, walnuts, things like that. So you can get that short chain omega-3, and then your body will convert it. Granted, it's a small amount of conversion to the longer chain. There is some evidence that, of course, we store things like DHA, that is the long chain omega-3s, in our tissue. It's a little bit harder to measure in the blood, of course. But again, these are simple things. If you want to, you can absolutely supplement with an algae omega-3. You don't need to consume fish and all the things that come with fish, like cholesterol, saturated fats in some fish, that can be detrimental to your health. So everything else, pretty good. I mean, honestly, there's just a few things that I will hammer out. Again, it's when people are super, super restrictive, and sometimes they need a little bit tweaking and some elaboration. But it's just like anybody who's eating any particular type of diet. If you're eating a standard American diet, I guarantee you, you're more nutrient deficient than if you're eating a well-constructed whole food plant-based diet. That is hands down. It's not even worth the discussion. So absolutely, but just pay attention to a few things and your health will thrive. Next is plant-based diets are expensive and inaccessible. So they call this the pauper diet for a reason, right? So when you think about eating these plant-based foods, many people think about these really specialty, highly, maybe more ultra-processed type of plant foods that they find in the freezer or on the shelf and has all these ingredients, and it can be only found at Whole Foods. Yeah, those are super expensive. But what I'm talking about is the basics: whole grains, legumes, fruits, and vegetables. These are some of the cheapest foods available, especially if you buy them in bulk. Dried beans and dried whole grains like brown rice and such are very, very, very affordable, and they can be stored on the shelf for a longer period of time. You can absolutely feed more of your family on these type of foods than buying animal products. So things, again, that are more budget friendly are going to be those: rice, beans, potatoes, lentils, oats, and seasonal produce, right, that you can see that your farmers markets are bringing. And then you can always check out the frozen fruit section, frozen veggie section. Many times those are also cheaper and more nutrient dense sometimes than what you're seeing in your produce aisle, where those were actually trucked thousands of miles to get to you. Certain fruits and vegetables that aren't in season, they show up in your grocery store in the middle of winter. They're probably not nutrient rich like the ones that you want to see in the frozen food section. So I would definitely check that out if I was you, because they flash freeze these right when they're picked, and then they're shipped off to you. That way it's, again, a little bit more nutrient dense for you. myth 4 is plant-based diets are only for weight loss. So many times we'll see people who move to a plant-based diet because they want to lose a significant amount of weight. You absolutely can lose weight on a plant-based diet, but you can also gain weight on a whole food plant-based diet. I've absolutely seen that. And see people stall because I think, again, people will be drawn to some of these more calorically dense foods like nuts and seeds and eat them to excess, or nut butters, or these ultra-processed vegan plant-based foods. Yes, they might taste delicious, but they're not necessarily healthy for you. But you absolutely can see people who do not need to lose weight do very, very well on a whole food plant-based diet. I've been eating a whole food plant-based diet for going on 13 years now, and my weight I was never overweight to begin with. And certainly with menopausal changes, and I did some things with Fit Vegan, which was really cool. So my body composition really shifted, so that was kind of fun. So you can do all sorts of things on a plant-based diet. You can be a very successful athlete. You can be younger. You could be a pregnant mom. Or a pregnant woman and have a healthy plant-based baby. You could be a man who's lifting weights and doing bodybuilding or doing ultra marathons. Again, a plant-based diet absolutely can support you in any of your endeavors, and it's not necessarily just for weight loss. Next is you can't build muscle on a plant-based diet. That's just not true. Just Google plant-based bodybuilder, and there's plenty of evidence and examples of individuals, some who've never eaten meat a day in their life, who just excel at building muscle and doing it very well. So, again, you want to combine those foods that are rich in protein. Legumes, tofu, tempeh, quinoa, exactly. But you also have to combine that with strength training to actually see that muscle growth. And of course, there are people much more well-versed in how to do that than myself, but this can absolutely be no problem. Next is that plant-based diets are difficult to follow and maintain. It's interesting. I think they're difficult if you want them to be difficult. So this kind of is a catch-22, but it really, really doesn't have to be difficult. If you want to make gourmet meals every night, and sure, that can be difficult. But if you just honestly just start transitioning slowly, maybe start breakfast for a week, then breakfast and lunch for the next week, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the following week, you'll transition over to a whole food plant-based diet within 3 to 4 weeks. And really, you're just going to find a few recipes that we kind of continue to rotate. It's like any time in our lives, we find that we gravitate towards kind of the same foods, same recipes over and over again. And there's nothing wrong with that. Other than you do want to eat a variety and color of these foods, again, to get all the micronutrients that are available to you. But it doesn't have to be difficult. If you go out to eat and you're in certain places in the country, sure, that could be more difficult, absolutely. Having lived in all sorts of parts of this country, traveled all parts of this country, but more and more foods are available. But I've been in a steakhouse and had no problem. So I'd get like a baked sweet potato and steamed vegetables. I'm good to go. You could do a salad. If you go to any ethnic food, I have yet to be, even in the smallest of cities, there's usually like some type of ethnic food available. Mexican, Chinese, Thai, you name it. If you go to a Mexican restaurant, bean rice burrito with avocado. You could do, Thai, you could do all sorts of veggies and rice. And again, there's just, the ethnic foods are very, very welcoming of a plant-based diet. Some of our favorite is Nepalese, Ethiopian. Yeah, so many opportunities to eat this diet when you go out. You just have to maybe plan. There are a few restaurants that I would say are not conducive to a plant-based diet, like IHOP, McDonald's. So anyway, you just need to look online, look at the menu, and you can kind of determine what works for you. Don't be afraid to ask for, hey, can I get a plate of all the sides that are maybe the vegetables, or have them hold something or put it on the side for you. So again, I hope that's helpful. I hear these over and over again from people asking the same question. Sometimes I feel like a broken record explaining it, but so sometimes it's nice to just kind of try to package it all together and explain it succinctly as quickly as possible for you. So plant-based diets lack sufficient protein. That's just not true unless you're eating a really restrictive diet. Plant-based diets are deficient in essential nutrients. I say the only one that you absolutely need to supplement is B12, and on occasion an algae omega-3 might be sufficient. But some people will also supplement vitamin D, but that has nothing to do with your diet. That's a separate issue. Plant-based diets are expensive and inaccessible. No, when we transitioned over to a plant-based diet for my family, I started saving $400 a month. And that's with 2 boys in the house. They eat like a lot of food. That's not even including my husband. Myth 4, plant-based diets are only for weight loss. Nope. Chronic disease reversal, people like myself who just want to be eating healthier for not only themselves, but for the planet and for the animals. And you can't build muscle on a plant-based diet. Just go Google plant-based bodybuilders. Their photos will literally speak for themselves. And next, plant-based diets are difficult to follow and maintain, only if you really want them to. But then again, anything in life can be as simple or as difficult as you want it based on your perspective and your attitude. So there you go, guys. If you're thinking about joining the plant-based diet, please do so. If you need some help, I have tons of free available videos. I'm happy to see patients online as well. Check it out at drmarbus.com. And as always, I'm sending you gratitude, joy, love, and peace and healing, because we all need more of that in this world. And so have a blessed day and the blessed rest of your weekend, everyone.